What's up, everybody? And this is our fresh restart on our podcast that we had tried once before. We got a little bit of fresh take on, a little bit of fresh spin, a little niche here and there. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. We're here and we're live. We had a lot of content to get us set and ready, so got a lot of prep and ready to go. My name is SOS Rampage. As you know from being on the channel, you see that's the only way you would have gotten here is finding myself over here. Less explaining to do over here than it is. It's gonna be weird because we're in the triangle thing. I guess I'm gonna pass it on over to Pharm because he's used to knowing what to do here, and then we'll go around in the circle.
Yeah. So like Rampage is saying, this is the show we do every once in a while when we gather enough information to actually talk about. So, welcome back. I'm SOS Pharm, aka Pharm27 on YouTube. If you know him, then you know me.
Then you kick it. You kick it downwards this time. That's where you go.
And our very special guest, the one and only, Doe's Life.
What up? It's Doe's Life, Here doing the podcast with the fellas. Here to discuss some pretty interesting topics tonight, I think.
Definitely give yourself a little plug on like times and stuff like that. When can people catch you and all that good stuff?
Live on Twitch Wednesday through Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Look me up on my socials, Doe's Life, everywhere.
That sounds all good to go. And like I said, he's the floating head for now because it is late over there. We prompted him at a last second, so we'll get him on like everybody else. We just like we lost Pharm into the darkness. I think that light took him. He was trying to tell ghost stories beforehand, and then he just got. I think that may be what happened. That lamp got him. And or Drake might have gotten him with that shoe. He might have actually. That's where that went.
Is that where the slipper? That's where the slipper landed.
It looped all the way around.
Pharm's land. It's like that Campbell's soup can commercial. The slipper made it all the way to Pharm's house.
Somehow, some way, it just looped like a boomerang, and knocked him out. It's getting there. I can feel the meltdown from him right now.
Yep.
There he is.
The angle we came back to.
Okay, hold on.
I didn't know Drake had such a beef with you too, my guy.
I don't know if
I feel like this is the perfect time while we're holding on for him to talk about the football topics because Mans is not one on the football topics, so this is where we get our first part of the segment out of the way, so he can he'll touch base on it once he gets back and everything gets set up. Doe brought this to our attention. Apparently, the Chiefs are claiming that the Eagles paid off some refs. Can you give us a little bit more background on what's going on here?
So there hasn't been anything like official brought to the table as of right now, the Kansas City Chiefs think that they have information that the Eagles may have paid one, if not more, of the refs to swing the game in their favor. You can take that at face value. I mean, there's been lots of accusations of cheating and whatnot, throughout this season. It's been a little, hectic, but it wouldn't be the first time. The Patriots got caught twice. It wouldn't be the first time a team has been caught cheating in the big game. So, I mean, not super mind-blowing. Mind-blowing is the thought of redoing the Super Bowl because it's never been done before.
Do it.
Do it. He says do it.
He says do it. Redo everything.
Listen. If there was ever going to be a case, I will say this: if there was ever going to be a case to redo the Super Bowl, it would be with a three-peat hanging in the balance.
But it's also that is nobody really thinking about the irony of the Chiefs bringing up the refs being paid off?
Absolutely.
The Chiefs being claimed that they're giving every penalty.
At this point, they're just grasping at straws, man. I mean, cheating aside, I mean, you could definitely make an argument for any of that, but that argument does not explain away how awful Patrick Mahomes looked that night. I mean,
Oh
he
yeah, and it
looked
was just like I
god
mean, a lot of
awful.
people said that it was the front four of the Eagles really did. I mean, a number of them like he did not have time. It was
Absolutely,
you couldn't really blame the refs on that one too hard. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
I don't even know when or how they would redo the Super Bowl. I mean, and this is where we pull our conspiracy analyst over here over where he'll come into play. How much of, especially one that is not into sports at all, he will, attest at all times. NFL, is it rigged to you? Is it? I mean, Roger Goodell or whoever's running. I don't even know if you're running anymore. You're not seeing any of this? I promise.
I feel like any referee could be picked off at any time by anybody because there's too much money moving around, and a lot of people aren't making as much as a lot of people. And hey, man, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And I've heard Bill Burr talk about the refs and the plays that they see or don't see in the NBA, and that's what made him stop watching that. And I listened to what he said, and I kind of peep game. I see it a little bit, like, oh, you pull this person out the game at this certain time, and then the whole balance is thrown off, and then these people win. And okay, so I definitely believe it could happen. I would have to know more about the shadiness and the shiciness of the individuals. I don't know if we're dealing with like a Earl Hebner type of person who will, you know, sell some T-shirts in the parking lot and get a few extra bucks.
Man. Well, it's definitely interesting to see what might transpire. I don't really foresee them trying to replay because that's a lot of, like I said, the money that I don't even know how they would go about it. It would be some sort of like COVID. I feel like closed off game somehow. It's like there would be no way. I mean, I know they would want to monetize it somehow, but that's a whole other bag of worms. Speaking of that whole other bag of worms, we have this craziness going on in the background with Mr. Albert Graham, Mr. Drake. Between the new album, between the antics, I guess one starting off with, I mean, have you guys listened to the new album? How do you feel about it from what you've heard online and what you've heard just by yourself, as well as who, and this could be controversial as well, of like who would you say won the beef overall, in your opinion? And I guess we could go over to the side with Pharm if you're ready.
I haven't listened to Drake's albums since Thank Me Later.
That's
The
a
first
while.
first one.
Okay.
So I haven't really kept up. Obviously Kendrick won and is still winning. Drake could stop the loss from happening, but he continues to subliminally instigate. So I don't know. Homeboy thinks he can still win it. God bless him.
Sir, Doe's life. Still here, bud.
Oh shit! So sorry. Yes. So as far as like who won, I mean, dog. Kendrick got to perform his diss track at the Super Bowl. That right there pulled the same numbers that the moon landing pulled. We're talking millions of people. That Say Drake, bro, I felt that. That was personal as fuck, man. As far as who won the beef, Kendrick won the beef. Now, is Drake worse off? Hell no. Drake's still fucking the highest selling. He's still making the most money. It's But that's the take.
But now he a Ned.
What about the album? What do you think about that? Have you heard any of it?
Party Next Door is for the hoes. It's not meant for the fellas, man. That's
Which
party.
everybody's argued, and I argued at the beginning. That's what I wanted him to get back to. That's what he kind of needs to get back to.
Drake a hoe.
So
Yeah, so no, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet, but there was arguments on Twitter about that. Party Next Door came in there and he put it down. He put it down right there. He said, "Y'all scaring the hoes. Go touch grass. This ain't for you."
mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I stand on that. That makes sense to me. I said, "All right."
No, it definitely makes sense, and this is where I said me taking that controversial and me taking that other side of it. And as you all know, I'm from the Degrassi days, I had my heart with Mr. Aubrey, Mr. Drake. I think that there's an argument that maybe Drake could win this at the end, 1,000%, because of one, what you just said, yes, but it was the hot song. What everyone wanted to hear is the one that's about Drake. It's him being talked about on a platform like that, along with, if this makes him turn up his game, if this makes him go back and be like, all right, I'm not going to focus on the beef anymore. I'm going to focus on being that star, being the best-selling album out there, while he's going on it, is focusing on me. And that's my argument to it. Like, that's what everybody was saying, and I think you had even said of like, Super Bowl performance was good, but I mean, you could have played older stuff. You could have played better stuff from Kendrick than focusing on the beef related things right now. But you also needed to play it. It's that fine line. But you're also having Drake's name in your mouth.
Yeah, there's no way he wasn't going to play the song. There was absolutely no way that wasn't going to happen, right? But it's a very interesting point you bring up, though, because now that the beef is over, I mean, it's almost indisputable that this beef, these songs, have brought Kendrick more fame than he's ever had before, right? And it's going to be very interesting to see the next Kendrick project. And if he continues to go after Drake to chase the clout, I'm sure that people are going to start, getting real tired of it.
It's going to be petty at that point.
They're going to start
it's also going to be that 100%. And it's also that idea of like what me and Pharm know from, our wrestling, from like Jeff Hardy, of like, oh, you're going to climb the 30-foot ladder. You're going to talk about Drake that hard. You can only go so high up the ladder. You can only, like, how far are you going to call man's out before it's overboard, before it's not, before you sink yourself? That height is there. Like, he's got that pressure on him at this point to really do what he needs to do. Go for it.
You can go about 15, 17 years before people start to feel sorry for Ja Rule. If properly, you can ride that for a long time and just keep standing on their neck.
I get that.
And also.
And this is, I guess, where the last question on this part of it, where I kind of end it, and we'll go on to the next topic on both sides from you guys. If you're Kendrick, is this ride off into the sunset, or do you think you follow up? Pharm, you go first.
You just keep promoting this album, and then you go back to chilling like you were.
Exactly.
And then you hope that everything that you said brings a calmness that you want. Otherwise, the quote-unquote boogeyman's going to have to come back out and start spanking everybody again.
Fair. Where are you at with it, though? Or you think he needs to come back with something higher to kind of get the beef out of the mouth, or do you think it's just kind of go off in the sunset with this high that he's on right now?
He just needs to kind of ride off into the sunset. In the next project that he makes, he needs to not even mention him. He needs to not even mention him once. That's if he, because I'm telling you, if he continues to talk about it, like people are already starting to falter a little bit. You know what I mean? It used to be, they not like us, all over the place. Now people are going, it's getting kind of old already. It's already kind of corny. Songs ever played, dude won't stop talking about, bro. I mean, after a while, it's gonna have to chill out.
I get that completely, and as this is also a good segue into the next topic on things because, and you'll kind of attest to this though, as being a big DC stand over there of someone that else can't keep another company out of their mouth / person is DC can't keep Marvel out of their mouth no matter how much they try because
Lord
James
have
Gunn's
mercy.
trying to be like, yeah, no, we should make a Marvel Rivals type game for DC. That sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. Do you think that there's any success behind something like that? Do you think it just falls because of a lot of, isn't it like Rocksteady behind DC projects on games? Like, and
Rocksteady handles the Batman games, and there's some news on that front. But James Gunn, as much as I love DC, James Gunn is goofy. He's a cornball. I mean, they're trying to jump on. I mean, this is like the equivalent of like our parents like trying to get in on a meme from like 4 years ago, and they're just jumping on way late to just to try and like chase clout. And honestly, it just looks desperate at this point. He's got his hands in too many things.
Do you think that there's enough there to make a game out of, or do you think that there's something that Marvel Rivals will combine with DC at some point, and that would be a stronger game, kind of, or do you think there's no way that would work together? Kind of
I don't think we're ever going to see a DC versus Marvel game. At least in the next few years, I don't think we're going to see anything like that. That's going to be something that's going to happen. It's going to happen towards the end of the comic book era, is where we would see collaborations like that to try and save brands. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna put my dumb hand up that Pharm also, I'm going to test for myself, and if I'm just the only dum-dum here, and I'm going to help our audience as well with this possibly, but Pharm probably also is this. Hey, Doe.
Yes.
Why aren't we allowed to play together? Why aren't Marvel and DC allowed to play? Who messed that up besides me?
See, well, the part of it isn't that it's been messed up, you know what I mean? So we used to have like DC versus Marvel in comics, in games, like in media, that like it's happened before.
I remember games like that was a thing.
Yeah, no, there was like Marvel. I mean, it's the same thing as like the Marvel versus Capcom. You know what I mean? There were games. There were even comic book crossovers. You know what I mean? Where they were doing a lot of collaborations. But see, these things were happening towards the end of the medium, right? When comic books were really starting to falter a little bit, they said, "How can we get people interested again?" Crossovers, collaborations. It's the last vestige, or the last, grasping at straws, for IPs, really. So I don't think that we would see. And here's the thing: with the new medium, movies, TV shows, it gained a resurgence, and part of the issue is because of how much bigger Marvel is than DC. There's absolutely no reason for Marvel to want to get involved in that. They don't need to. And that is pretty much the short and sweet of that one.
Well, and this is where my follow-up is, and something else, because you all know from the channel and stuff like that, the wrestling is very prevalent over here. How bad, just like in wrestling when WWF took over WCW, how bad is DC, and what does DC have to do to mess up where, big old Disney's got the money to do it at some point. DC's fumbling all over the place. How big of a mess up and how low do they have to get for big old Disney to be like, num, I want that IP too?
I am not sure how that would work. But here's the thing. DC is already there. DC and Warner are already there. They're already at that breaking point.
Lowest that they can be right now.
This thing that they're doing right now with James Gunn and this reset is them like basically declaring, yes, we are pretty much cooked, like if this doesn't work. Yeah. So here's the thing: this Superman movie flops. If this Superman movie doesn't even make back the budget, it's basically going to be over for DC Warner. They're already in discussions of selling again, which a major corporation like Warner, that owns so many different IPs, that owns so many different aspects of the industry, movie theaters, television, being sold again within 10, 15 years is insane.
Not a good look.
Not a good look at all. It's it's literally as bad as bad as it can get when it gets to that point. Now, could Disney swoop in and buy the IP? Yes. Would that allow for there to actually be crossovers and things like that? Yes. That would probably be one of the only other ways that we could see stuff like that happening. But right now, DC is chasing after what Marvel did years ago. They're trying to build their own universe, and it's the playing, copycat is not working for them. It hasn't worked for them in years. So I think that jumping on the already diminishing Overwatch clone with DC would not only flop, but would just look desperate as hell.
Doesn't NetherRealm make that DC game that's like Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, so NetherRealm does do Injustice, but that's because Mortal Kombat and DC are both owned by Warner.
So could this video game idea also be involved with them to have like a different engine behind it, to have like a different idea? So like it's the same kind of game, but it feels different.
Absolutely, it could, and it's.
I definitely feel like that could work because the Mortal Kombat.
But you know what's funny about this though is that there's already a precedent for Warner trying to use their IPs to copy another franchise's video game and it failing miserably. Do you guys remember Multiverses?
Yeah.
Multiverses literally shut down, was completely redesigned and re-released, and now is being shut down in about 3 months forever. The game came and went as a Smash Bros. Clone with Warner IPs and failed miserably.
It just played terribly though too. Like, I don't know,
Well, that's why they shut it down and they redid the entire thing. From the ground up, they redid the entire video game, re-released it, and it still couldn't even justify its own existence. So for James Gunn to come out here and say, yeah, we should make our own, Overwatch clone with DC IPs is just it's an awful idea. It's just an awful idea.
Yeah, no, and I feel that. As far as, and we'll segue this into the next part of this on awful ideas, and I'm also, this is, as Pharm knows from recording with me, throwing a little bit of an audible in here with what we're talking about as well, because I feel like it coincides with this. Diddy's lawyer quitting on the case because of, how awful it is. Right now, we're also going to add this on there because, we didn't speak on this at all. Who is necessarily looking worse, right? I can't even say looking worse because we don't necessarily know the extent of things. But Kanye or Diddy right now?
Diddy.
Absolutely Diddy.
100% Diddy. 100% Diddy.
I mean, yeah. Kanye may be a Nazi. He may be a drug addict, but he's not in jail. He's not being accused of diddling no one.
Just free.
Who, and I guess this was the better phrase the question, because this is where I'm going with it, I guess. Because at this point, I mean, Diddy's got to defend himself at this point. Like, there's no lawyer, unless it's like a terrible, terrible lawyer that just wants some sort of, clout from it and knows they're not going to win. But who would defend themselves better in court? And this is for their case of Diddy or Kanye, and Kanye being on drugs as well. Let's put this out there. I don't know, man. I think Diddy might defend himself a little bit better. He's crazy and he's got those eyes, but I think he might defend himself a little bit better.
Kanye.
I'm gonna go with Kanye too.
He's good at defending himself in his crazy state, but
Kanye good point when you actually listen to him. I think the things that Diddy has done cannot be defended even by Diddy himself.
It's true. I mean, realistically, if Kanye didn't follow up, a somewhat, interesting topic with a slur or a racial slander, it wouldn't even be in the conversation
No.
at this
Yeah,
point.
that's true. He's done some. I also feel like that's the same thing about like Diddy of like I don't know after the fact, but that's also rumor and innuendo and all that good stuff. But
It's rumor and innuendo until this trial starts.
No, I mean with Diddy, as far as are we really pretending like man's is on nitrous a lot and saying some wild stuff? Are we acting like he's not acting wild and a fool out and and we're just not necessarily hearing about all the stories? Just like Diddy kind of idea. There was always the stories about Diddy, but nobody really put it out there.
There could be somebody that comes out down the line. I mean, look at the R. Kelly thing. Way down the line, he made it to what 50, 60 years old before they finally said, "All right, we got enough. We got enough on you." You know what I'm saying? So is
in
it
your
possible?
guys' opinion, do you think Diddy doesn't defend himself? Do you think he just says, "I'm guilty"?
There will be a lawyer. There will be a lawyer that will defend him.
Man, I think Diddy could be crazy enough to try to do it.
Here's the thing. Because this is such a high-profile case and they don't want there to be any sort of nonsense, I feel like even if he tried to defend himself, they would assign him legal counsel to advise. So I don't think that a judge would allow him.
They wouldn't let him speak for himself. He would have to go.
Not 100%. They would give him a handler, basically.
That makes sense.
Because you're legally allowed to represent yourself, but the judge does not have to, allow you to tank your case. Because, like I said, in a high-profile case like this, any kind of nonsense, it could open for a mistrial, And I don't think anybody wants, the diddler to get off. Well, pause.
Pause, Granddad, pause.
I
think that's where we get off. I think that's where we get off of this case right here, and we go on to our next little topic/subject of before we kind of get into. We're gonna break down kind of where we're all at as far as on our content creation journey in life and stuff like that. Then we're going to go on to our topic of kind of the week for all of us. And then we're going to go on to our hot seat over here with Mr. Pharm over there once he's all ready to go and, good stuff like that. Hey, 27 minutes in. Look at that. That's the way to go. I'll go first with it since I had the, this spring of the moment kind of thing. But this is also, we had talked about doing this before. At least right now for me, like you guys find me at on the YouTube, the SOS Rampages. It's down to the thingy down there. You can read that, and it's all the way on the Twitch side of things. It's usually at like 10 p.m. Eastern time going onward most nights, besides weekends when I do like those watch-alongs and stuff like that of UFC and WWE events and stuff like that. Playing a lot of UFC online as well as a UFC career mode of yours truly over there as well, trying to get him, the journeyman career going over there, kicking some butt with him over there. Once we get done with that, we'll go on to Doe's Life and make his Juggernaut character over there and, move on to that. And then we also have the college football that we are releasing on the channel, as well as trying to get, the Fortnite shenanigans and stuff up there. But, check me out on over there and, trying to collab and all that good stuff as far as with our Discord on the SOS side of things. So if you want to come up in there and check us out, game with us, all that good stuff. That being said, we'll kick it on over to Doe's Life because Pharm will get all that good stuff in when he's in the hot seat, so he doesn't have to do this week. So Doe, what you got going on over there? What are you doing?
So shameless plug.
Yes.
Pokey MMO. If you guys haven't heard of it, I need you to go onto Google, type in Pokey MMO, and check this thing out. I have been absolutely put in a chokehold by this game. I think I have over 320 some odd hours already.
How many people converted?
Oh man, like at least like 20, 30 different people. Like I've gotten to download and give this thing a try. It is sweeping the area, as it were. And that's pretty. I mean, when I say that's pretty much all I've been doing, I mean that's pretty much all I've been doing. I mean, I'm saving some games. We're trying to rebuild a back catalog, but that's half of an excuse of this game is phenomenal, and I really am just glued to it. You know what I'm saying? So that is the gist of what I've had going on.
And then add to his shameless plug over there, man, it's just hit his 2,500 follower mark over there. Congratulations to the man over there with that one. As well as still trying to push for, as well as not just in the Pokemon MMO, he's pushing for that Pokemon community game that we all have in our chats, like a bunch of us Twitch streamers have in our chats. So trying to push for that little, what was it, the partner or stream? Sorry, I should be better at this point. What are you trying to do with that?
Wait, what?
The Pokemon community game. What are you trying to push for?
Yeah,
that?
so we are trying to become featured.
So, just keep pushing that. Trying to, it's a good way to interact if you're a streamer yourself, as well as hop into our streams as well, catch some Pokemons, get some shinies. It's a good time.
Hell yeah.
With that being said, also going on over why I wanted to do this before this kind of topic, because we are going to be branching off into some Pokemon. We had kind of talked beforehand about kind of how we were going to do this. And you guys can, type in the chat all this good stuff on how you feel, all these different Pokemon, on your opinions on how our picks, as well as your picks on yourself, just so we can get to know you guys and all that good stuff. But we're going to go with the top 3 Pokemon overall, as far as like how we feel in our hearts and our minds. This can be in games and shows and movies and all that good stuff. We're going to go, since we are playing the Pokemon MMO lately and the games, we're going to go with the most OP Pokemon in your mind in any of the gens, as far as like, this is my go-to Pokemon, this is where I go to, and this is like, you need this in your roster, this is what I do. And then you go with your underrated, this is my unsung hero, this is where I go to, this is where no one else goes to, this is my baby right here, you don't even know about this, you ain't even know about this guy right here, this is my guy. I'll give it to start because, I have the ideas, so I like to give everybody time to think and branch off of my thing. It's one of those things like, in class, when the first person goes and you can almost like copy off of homework and bounce off of and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh no, he's an idiot. I shouldn't say that. That sounded dumb. So I like to just throw on the grenade real quick for myself. With my 3 overall, I mean, me and Pharm are doing the watch-alongs as far as with the Pokemon show, and I mean, I grew up watching it. I played the games a whole bunch, but like the show was my thing. That was my baby. That was my heart right there. So a lot of these, basically all of these picks are for the first 3 going based off of kind of my show. With that, I fight for this one, and this is not in order, by the way. Bye Butterfree. Butterfree, that is the OG right there. If you have not welled up one time while watching that, you're not a human. You're a robot. I argue that full force right there. Like you a whole robot right there. Because that wells up, and I wanted a Butterfree in every game that I played ever since that, and did find out that it's all right. It's not. You shouldn't want it like that. It ain't all that. Second, and these are kind of like the odder picks that people might not really go to as much. The Safari episode, Genghis Khan. It just seemed that was another one when I started playing the game of like, it's not all it's cracked up to be, but it was just something about it, how big it was and how odd it was, and just the episode itself. There was something that, like, I don't know, I was like, it's a cool Pokemon that I never see around, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like this.
Well, super rare.
I would say it's super rare, and like I said, I'm sure as an adult playing the game and using a Genghis Khan, it probably has a lot of use. As a child, no idea. It was just kind of like, this is silly. I don't understand this at all. And then with that kind of last pick going kind of with where leaning away from the show, but just going off of what I kind of used in the game as well. But I mean, it's probably pretty basic as well. Vaporeon. I'm a water type person. Just the look of just that's my baby right there. I love I'm water based no matter what. So that's kind of my go to. I heard that deep breath right there. I heard that very, very deep sighing breath right there.
You don't even understand what you just did.
I'm gonna
You don't
understand.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to send it. People who are watching it know they're gonna say something about that.
I believe you. But like, I'm sorry. That's me. I'm an honest person. That's how I go. That's where I go with it.
Fair.
Um,
Fair.
with the game, as far as like the one that I go to, OP, and I guess this is kind of a little bit of a cheating answer, and I've said this before, and this goes back to the kind of the Vaporeon thing. Any water types, like that, my starter needs to be that water. That's my instant go to. That's that instant. I feel like I'm safe. I'm pretty sure that is kind of like how that goes. I'm pretty sure that's kind of like the easy go to in the beginning for everybody. But like, I don't know. I just that Squirtle, that Totodile. That's yeah. That water type is where I kind of go. That shows my length of Pokemon as well. I know stuff and things. I know more gens and stuff like that. There's another one, isn't it? What's it? Pit Pulp? Is that the water 1 and 3? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did it. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then the last one that is like a little bit underrated, and it's probably not that underrated, but it's kind of one that I use, especially as a kid, and this goes to kind of the antithesis of the other side of that Butterfree, is that Beedrill. I was a huge fan of Beedrill, and I don't know, I carried that on a lot farther than I probably should have, and I don't know, it did a lot more damage, and it had a lot more effect than the Butterfree, so that's where that kind of changes.
Beedrill was dangerous back in the day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Feel you on that.
But Pharm, to kick it on over to you.
All right, so we start off with my my top three.
Top 3. Mm-hmm.
I would say Blastoise.
Okay.
I mean, the Pokemon Blue cover. Like, if I could get a poster of that, I'd definitely get it. Just like that's what made me want the game. Mewtwo.
Okay.
The strong psychic type. I don't even want to say the strongest, but you know, like the story of it, how it was created in a lab and it escaped, and then it was a clone, and there's a lot of layers to the Mewtwo story. Plus, I like psychic Pokemon too. And then number 3, I would say Eevee.
Okay.
Like Eevee, I always saw it as like I don't even want to battle with. Like just be my little pet, be my little sidekick. You sleep here, I'm gonna get you some food. Just chill and relax.
Okay.
Look at you. You went up a level. How'd you do that by accident? Well,
and then the most overpowered that you use, and then the most underrated that you use.
Actually, like lately, I've been using Nidoking for the time since like I've been playing the games, and it's actually like really strong, and like you can get it really early, and then you can get the Moonstone early, and then you can get a level 3 Pokemon before you get to the second. It's very strong, and it's only going to get stronger as like it levels up and gets more moves. So I'm impressed with a Pokemon that was always there that I never really gave.
Okay, and then you got one more from the game.
Which what category is this?
This would be underrated. I don't know if that was underrated or the one that you used the most.
That was my underrated.
Okay, so what do you use the most?
Jolteon.
Jolteon, okay.
Jolteon is my Vaporeon.
Okay, sorry.
I need it every game. I need it by my side.
Is that the less sus version, though? Is that what I'm picking up on?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's wrong with Jolteon?
No,
Apparently
there's nothing
nothing.
wrong.
Apparently
There's
there's
nothing
something
wrong.
wrong
There's
with
nothing wrong.
Vaporeon.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, you're gonna.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do a whole
no.
Google search while you're talking.
Okay, yeah. Check.
All right, go forward, Joe, and to talk about your ventures and how your top three and underrated and overrated kind of for OP.
OP Mons, man. It's a great question. I mean, and that's like, are we talking like lore? Or are we talking about like PvP? Like, that's it's.
It's in your kind of base opinion as far as like in the game, what would be like your most like overpowered that you go to and use and like battle people with? I guess it will be more PvP based.
It's an oldie but goldie. It is like a Gen 1 Pokemon, but you get yourself a good Gyarados with the right hidden abilities, and you have an absolute fucking beast.
Mm-hmm.
Competitively against AIs, it don't even matter what. I'd say Gyarados is it's not legendary, it's obtainable, and he can carry you. He can carry you.
What would you say is underrated that people wouldn't think of?
An underrated mind that really put in work. That's just so many Pokies, because like my knowledge extends, past, the
1 and 2.
the 1 and 2, you know what I mean? We're talking like all 7 generations, you know what I mean? We're talking,
Like
underrated
if
mons.
you thought like the most underrated, what would you put up there? Like the first one that comes to mind when I say that word.
Or maybe who's the first Pokemon you ran into that you thought was underrated?
First one I ran into that I thought was underrated. Bro, of course I'd be drawing a blank on this one, man.
I mean,
Underrated Pokemon. You know what? Okay, I got you on an underrated Pokemon. From playing the MMO, I've learned that Smeargle, little artist Pokemon with the paintbrush tail, it can actually learn any move.
Interesting.
It is the only Pokemon other than Mew that can learn every move in the game. You can fly on that guy. You can surf on him. Dude can use lightning. Dude can use fire. Dude can use ice. There's nothing it can't do.
You know what? That makes sense. It's a blank canvas.
Exactly. It literally, the move it uses to copy a move forever is called sketch. It sketches out the move and then it has it forever.
Brilliant.
So I mean, and you think about how ridiculous that is. I mean, we're talking about this thing can watch another Pokemon fly, write it down, and then itself can fly.
Somebody had writer's block and just was like, I don't know, what do I draw? Oh, a Pokemon.
And you know what's crazy is that it's only obtainable Generation 3 in a niche cave after you've beaten the game. It is so unassuming. You just would have no idea unless somebody told you. I didn't even know that it was capable of doing that. I thought that there were limits to that move. There are no limits to that move.
That's the top tier knowledge that you found out here.
Yeah.
By listening in.
I don't even seen that Pokemon.
All right, and then this is the easiest. This should be the easiest one, but it also probably might be the hardest one to you as well. Just heart. Just it doesn't matter how good they are. What are your top 3 that you just thought these are your heart Pokemon? These are your I want this. This is I don't care if it's good. I don't care anything. This is just your heart. Show, movie, game, but like it doesn't have to be good.
I want 3 Psyducks.
Okay. Dude, Hoopa. Hoopa's the goat. Okay. Hoopa the goat.
That's 1, 2.
Oh, we're doing the 3P. Dude, Hoopa,
Mm-hmm.
Rayquaza.
Okay.
Bro, give me Celebi. Time travel, bro.
Okay.
All right.
I'm surprised. I know you're also a Lucario person over there, so I'm surprised.
Yeah, but if we're talking like everything, if we're talking everything, man. Give me portals. Give me fucking raw strength. And give me time travel, and I'll do whatever. I'll go find me a Lucario.
So you just became an evil villain.
Well, now hold on now.
I mean,
Hey, pause.
how
All right, there, evil villain. Well, we got down to that Pokemon segment. We're in the last one, so we can get everybody to go home and all that good stuff. Like to let everybody get out of the classroom before it gets too late here. But down to your hot seat section over there, Mr. Pharm. Basic about me. Describe yourself real quick. I don't know, haiku style words, whatever. Just give some words about yourself.
charismatic, dramatic, charming, artistic.
You know how monotone you're saying all of that as you're saying how charismatic you are?
Charisma.
Hi, guys.
Charisma doesn't come from the actions. It comes from the heart and the spirit. I speak like this so you can understand what I'm saying. You have to pay attention to the words that are coming out of my face.
All right, Jake Snake, calm down.
I don't see
what, now I can tell. What are your interests there, big guy?
Let's see. I like drawing. I'm not good at drawing. I like skateboarding. I'm not good at skateboarding.
So, like, next time that we do this segment, I'm gonna need you to show a drawing, unless you have one on hand right now.
I don't have one right.
Well, then next time when you bring this up, I'm gonna need to see a drawing. I'm putting you on the spot.
I could draw something right now.
Let's not and say we did. How about that?
Oh.
I see what you did there. You didn't draw that very well. That was pretty
I
shit.
told you I'm not good at drawing.
I can tell.
Let's see. I like Minecraft. I'm into food and like gardening and shit, but I don't garden. I'm into a lot of things that I don't have.
I don't do.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
a wanderer, a thinker. I used to be a doer, but then I ran into a lot of donors, and now I won't.
When do you stream, sir?
I mostly stream in the morning now. Sometime I start between 10 and 11. And I usually go on like a 4 day, and then I kind of 2 or 3 days. And then I kind of just stream either something for the week. It seems like I'll do like WWE that week, and then like I'll get done that, and then the next week I'll move on to Minecraft, and then the next week I'll play Sims. So I kind of got like a mostly weekly streaming schedule as far as the gameplay right now. So there's nothing set in stone.
Okay. What are your big things on said games? Because I was going to ask the games, but you mentioned listed off the games. What are your big projects on said games that you are working on Sims, on WWE, on Minecraft? Just a brief little what's happening.
Well, I just got Sims 1, so I'm trying to relearn how to play it. It's very mean. So I'm gonna make a stream called Cheese in the Sims where, I just take advantage of the money system because, we'll get into that when it happens. I just finished the story mode on WWE, so I'm waiting 2 weeks until 2K25 comes out. And then we will start this adventure all over again.
Yeah.
And on Minecraft, I just started a Forever World like a month and a half ago. So I've just been collecting blocks on that and streaming it a little bit. But if I plan on playing it for the next 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, then I got plenty of time to, do things.
Fair enough. Speaking of all-time stuff, get to these last three kind of questions going on. Top 3 games of all time.
All time. Mortal Kombat, no particular one.
Okay.
Minecraft,
Okay.
WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Those are solid.
had the most fun multiplayer wise with that one, so I'm gonna pick that one out of all the wrestling games.
Top 3 albums of all time.
Oh Lord.
That was painful for you. I can tell.
God, what 3 Eminem albums should I pick? Okay, the Marshall Mathers LP2.
Okay. There are 2 rappers that I'm going to need you to say, or else you're disrespecting one of them.
Well, I only got room for 2 more, and I don't. My mind is racing. Knees weak, arms are heavy.
I mean, though, you know enough of the 2 ones I'm thinking about that he talks about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that they have the greatest album of all time.
If they're one of your favorite artists, shouldn't they have? Okay, that's another debate, I guess.
Ice Cube, Laugh Now, Cry Later.
Okay. So one of them is definitely getting left off.
For all you know, both of them might be left off.
It sounds like it at this point, because I know one of them is more of a mixtape guy. Chameleonaire is getting left off, correct? Because he's more of a mixtape guy. Okay.
Millionaire never got to release.
That's fair.
In my opinion.
The other one does have a solid album or 2.
Sure he does, or they do. Album of all time, greatest album. D12, Devil's Night.
That's a good
Solid.
one too. But you're leaving Game off there.
No, I know. I only have
So
room.
I said I thought Game and Chameleonaire were locks with them. Like I thought that was.
I wanted to say documentary, but I only had room for 3, man.
Yeah, and then this is gonna be the last one that's gonna be the most painful for you, and then you can get off the hot seat. 3 favorite matches of all time.
Oh, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, Last Man Standing, Royal Rumble 2004.
I just watched that. Yeah.
Man, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Okay.
Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 35.
Proud of you. All right. You
Not
just
proud.
kind of.
That's been on my list.
And you left Owen off, but that's okay.
No.
Questions from the audience and anything from Anne's?
No, I mean, he explained it well. No.
Appreciate.
Would mine differ? Yes, but you know.
Yeah, that's to each his own.
Yeah.
All right, and this is where we gonna end the doodad for this on evening. So we gonna pass it on over to Pharm to give his last little promotion of himself, where the places are to find him and when to find him. That's you. Hi, speak.
I don't know.
No,
At KanyeWest.com.
wait, no.
No ye. No ye.
At antidoselife.com.
Okay, wait, yeah.
Hey, wait, now we're doing gimmick infringement now. Hey.
No, I'm on the website under the name Les Pharm, aka 7 on YouTube.
Okay.
And
that was a long way to go around.
The end of my interview. You know what? If I had sunglasses here, I would put them on and walk away.
We definitely need a ruin Vaporeon for Rampage.
Don't need to ruin Vaporeon for anyone. He or she is a wonderful Pokemon, and no one needs to ruin anyone's childhood by exposing anyone to anything. Karmic ruins everything that I love. They'll express when you go live and all of that last stuff. Where can people find you? The TikToks, the X's, all the good stuff.
Hey, on all social medias, just search Doe's Life. We live on Twitch Wednesday through Sunday around 6 p.m. Pacific time. Catch us grinding some Pokemon, man. That's for the foreseeable future, man. It is a Pokemon world, and we're gonna be a master.
Not say grinding some Pokemon.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm grinding them up,
Yeah,
making them into
like we're making
Poke treats.
no other grinding.
No
Yeah.
other grinding.
No. Listen,
No,
we're not diddling no Pokemons. Hold on now.
There you
no
go.
jinxes over here. No jinxes over.
Hey, yo.
Hell.
There you go.
But if we were,
right. No. All right. Let's get out of there. My whole stuff, SOS Rampages, where you found me, all the other stuff on the side, all that side this way, it's on that side. You click the videos over there to find us and talking about all that good stuff and things. We'll be back next time. I don't know how often we'll do this. Y'all let us know in the comments how often y'all want us to do this, every week, every 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But with that being said, we'll go into, Mr. Doe's life next time and all of his fun adventures and stuff and things, and learn more about him and all that. But we'll cut this one for this time. With that being said, everybody, peace on out.
watch out, Drake's throwing a slipper.
He already knocked you out.
I know, that's why I'm moving. Y'all don't feel, y'all